This time on The Gadget Show.
The future of cinema. Or at least Jason and Suzi's vision of what that future might be.
Using the latest eye-boggling tech, we face the challenge of taking movie making to the next level.
Ortis travels to the States to meet possibly the most incredible robot we've ever had on the show.
He's not big, but he is very, very clever. You just have to see the wonder that is Little Dog.
And as if that's not enough, John enlists the help of top chef Jean-Christophe Novelli to do the washing up as they test the best gadget dishwashers you can buy.
You know what he smells? He smells like an old swimming pool.
And then he jets off with Gadget Show new girl Pollyanna to the Far East to test the top 5 in-ear headphones, where she finds out the true meaning of a Singapore sling.
Hello and welcome to the Gadget Show.
And you are most welcome, so please take a seat, make yourself comfortable. Oh, and if you need to go to the toilet before the intermission, make sure to do it quietly, don't disturb the other viewers, all right?
Yeah, that's an important consideration. Thank you, Jason. So, we've seen the ads, the trailers have gone out, and by now, most of us have already run out of those really noisy sweets that annoy everyone. But that's OK, because this week's Gadget Show challenge starts right here, and it is a cinematic clash of these two Gadget Show titans. The original, not the new, really rubbish version. And already the reviews are very favourable. Some have said marvellous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, before these two stretch their cinematic metaphor beyond breaking point, I think we should just have a look at part 1 of this week's challenge. Lights, camera, action!
The challenge began with an early morning call to the world-famous Shepperton Studios, the home of British cinema. Were we excited? You bet!
Oh,
Wow.
look at this place.
God, the size of that screen. Oh, hang on. What's going on?
Suzi and Jason, your challenge is to give us a gadget-filled movie experience we'll never forget. Using the best tech you can muster and your own ingenuity, you've each got to shoot a cutting-edge film trailer that will be presented in just 3 weeks' time. So, get to it and may the best gadget filmmaker win.
Wow! I'd love to chat, Suze, but this is a versus challenge, so if you'll forgive me.
Yeah, the door's actually this way.
The film industry has been a tech-driven business from the start. Every year they spend millions on innovation. So to try and outsmart them on a Gadget Show challenge budget was going to be tough. I knew I needed to find a really great idea, but time was running out and I was up against it.
This is turning into a nightmare.
I too spent absolutely ages struggling, but then I had a breakthrough. I'm just looking at various locations, trying to stimulate some ideas for my movie, and I'm using Google Maps on the iPad, and you can spin around with your finger around the buildings in 360 degrees, and it's just given me an idea. I wonder if there is a movie-making technology that can give the people watching my film a 360-degree panorama. Now, there are basically 2 ways to produce a 360-degree photo. You can do what Google does and use multiple cameras. Or you could use something like this. It's the preferred weapon of choice for estate agents, a conventional digital SLR camera with a special lens attachment that features a convex mirror that apparently enables you to take 360-degree panoramic spherical images. Initially, you get a weird circular image, but once it's processed, it becomes a brilliant 360-degree photo. It's really clever stuff. With its mini convex mirror attachment, this Sony Bloggy works in exactly the same way, except the Bloggy has one big advantage. It gives me 360-degree video, which is great, and it's really inexpensive. My only problem is that the quality output isn't quite good enough for my 360-degree movie trailer.
After hours of research and a little bit of gaming, finally, I had a plan.
Whichever way I look at this, I keep on coming back to 3D. I mean, it is this year's hottest ticket, but I don't think that 3D alone is going to win me the challenge. So, what I'm going to do is film a trailer in 3D with some added tech for a completely immersive experience.
But first, I had to work out how I was going to film in 3D. Because even though it's really popular, the options for shooting in 3D with a purpose-built camera are limited.
On the high street, there's the Fuji W1, and, well, that's about it. And while this is great fun, particularly for taking snaps, I'm not sure that the video is going to be good enough for what I want to use it for. So that leaves me one choice and one choice alone. I'm going to have to build my own 3D rig. Now, experts told us it's virtually impossible to shoot good quality 3D without professional kit. But from the research I've done, I'm convinced they're wrong. I think high street cameras with their HD movie modes are now so good, it's possible to do it with 2 digital SLRs. So what you need to do is have them as close together as you possibly can. Get them level and then have them slightly pointing into each other. This was one hell of a gamble, which, if it went wrong, would screw up my whole challenge.
Now, I'd seen some great tech, but I needed to up the quality dramatically, so I called in the big boys. Transmission TX are one of the world's leading specialists in 360-degree films.
Good.
Great to see you. I've got no idea for my trailer as yet, except that I want to make it really immersive. I want to make it 360 degrees.
Just got this out.
Wow.
This is a 360-degree camera. Whatever idea you come up with, this is the toy to do the job.
Is this on right now?
It's on right now, yeah, look.
Check it out. Look at that, man. That is just awesome.
So my 3D camera rig was ready but unproven. What I needed now was a piece of extra tech that I could really rely on to take things to a whole new level. And boy, did I deliver.
So this is the Emotions jacket by Philips. It's a prototype, a complete one-off, and the boys have flown it over from the Netherlands for me this morning, especially for this challenge.
The jacket has 64 tiny computer-controlled motors sewn into its lining, which when activated, flutter.
Oh, just like someone's just walked over my grave. That's amazing.
Wow, if I could sync these effects up with the key points in my movie trailer, it would be awesome.
With this jacket and my movie, Jason, you're going down.
Guys, I've got to
Amazing
say,
tech.
I'm really excited about what you guys have got in store. And the tech is amazing. I mean, I can't believe that you can put together your own 3D movie now just by clamping 2 SLR cameras together.
Well, you know, there's a bit more to it than that, but you haven't seen the film yet.
My rig, my 360-degree camera, right? Each one of those tiny cameras is capable of full HD 1080p. So the technology it had was phenomenal.
So it's a really exciting challenge.
It is,
I bet
it's
you
really
guys are
exciting.
chomping at the bit. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
Welcome back. Now I want to talk to you about dishwashers. Back when I was a young whippersnapper, the dishwasher was my mum. But then, 40 years ago, everything changed. The automatic dishwasher appeared and became the cutting-edge gadget du jour. Since then, little has changed in the world of dishwashers. Until now, that is. I'm told these 3 all contain clever gadgetry designed to clean your dishes even more effectively. But can this most mundane of household gadgets really have become part of the technological revolution? Well, the only way to find out was some hardcore gadget testing. To help me test 3 of the latest, techiest dishwashers on the market, I'd enlisted the help of Michelin and 5 AA Rosette award-winning French chef Jean-Christophe Novelli. He was clearly an ideal person to dirty up plenty of pots and pans with hard-to-remove food like scrambled eggs and porridge.
5 more minutes.
And the brilliant result was that the crew and I were able to enjoy a slap-up cordon bleu breakfast. Then, after our delicious meal, we collected 3 identical stacks of sticky plates and pans for each of our 3 dishwashers to tackle. Now it's time to try the dishwashers. First up, we tried our cheapest model, the Whirlpool Aqua Steam. This boosts its wash cycle with steam to help soften up dried-on food and sanitize dishes.
I'm quite happy to learn from your advice, but you've got to guide me because I have never, ever used a dishwasher in my life.
I adore filling dishwashers. I think it's my favourite bit of the kitchen. The Whirlpool includes 24 rotating water jets at the back, intended to blast off the toughest baked-on food.
You know where I feel a bit guilty?
Why is that?
Because I was born in a situation where we had to wash by hands. Everything was done by hands. I mean, the time it takes you...
I know, I'm worried about that.
It's a nightmare.
Like our other dishwashers, it's equipped with sensors that detect the size of the load and how dirty your water's getting. When the water's clear enough, it knows the dishes are clean and moves on to the next part of the wash cycle.
That just about get everything in, I think.
As the Whirlpool got washing, we moved on to loading our second machine, this mid-priced Siemens. This contains a mineral called zeolite that absorbs heat during the wash cycle and then releases it to help dry the dishes. So this is the Siemens. It's got slush controls and it's got a blue light inside which is supposed to make things easier to see.
Like a discotheque, maybe?
Ah, perhaps so. Items placed in the Siemens lower rack are subjected to a 20% increased spray pressure, using water at a high 65 to 75 degrees centigrade. This should be great for burnt-on food and stubborn stains, while the upper tray is intended for more delicate items.
Right, let's see how it goes.
Next up, we filled the most expensive of our 3 dishwashers, this Miele. This was the most versatile dishwasher for stacking things and includes a movable cutlery drawer with a central drop-down section to allow extra space for bigger utensils.
Now, although it fits in the standard appliance-sized hole, Miele have managed to eke out a few extra millimetres inside this dishwasher. It gives you slightly more width.
Like the others, it also has an intensive wash setting for heavily stained pots and pans. So, all 3 machines were now filled with identical loads and running on sensor wash programs using their intensive modes. This gave me time to pick up some culinary tips from Jean-Christophe.
Well, what is the action I'm doing now? I mean, it looks like I'm cooking
Reducing it to a smaller level.
You're very good. Evaporating the water.
Yes. On the very rare occasions I do operate these things, I always enjoy it.
Finally, it was time to see how our dishwashers had performed. And first up was the Whirlpool, which took the shortest time for a sensor wash cycle, just 70 minutes.
See, this is not a good sign. Ooh. Because there's stickiness on the wood, you see.
Well, it's not full marks for the, for the wooden spoons.
Oh, look at this. It's awful. You know what it is? I think the water is too hot.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm not too impressed so far, but there's no smell. It's just a natural... you can see the machine has been trying to do the job.
At least the Whirlpool's wash smelt good. Next, the Siemens, which took 93 minutes to complete its wash cycle.
Now, it's got this intensive area at the bottom, as we said. I wonder whether it's got the saucepans clean. That's pretty good, isn't it?
In a way, yes and no. I mean, you can see the corners are still...
There's a bit of porridge left.
A bit of scrambled egg. You know what it smells? It smells like an old swimming pool.
Oh.
The sweating.
It's got a special mineral in it called zeolite, which absorbs heat during the washing process and then releases it during the drying process to save energy. And I'm just wondering if that's giving us this slight smell.
Yeah, but if the water is not clean, it's pointless to try to dry it.
The glass doesn't look too healthy, does it?
I mean, look at this. Ugh.
So, after a rather disappointing, smelly performance by the Siemens, we went on to the Miele. This had taken 101 minutes for its sensor wash cycle, the longest of our 3 dishwashers.
Now, a good thing about the Miele is it opens automatically when it's finished the cycle, so to give things room to breathe.
Which is very important, yeah.
Let's have a look at the cleanliness.
Like the others, the Miele hadn't cleaned off the egg and porridge completely.
Again, it's the same problem. How can you expect the machine to clean the pans entirely? That's clean.
That's good.
Neat. Impeccable. Nothing between,
yes.
Look at that, especially there. The inside is absolutely completely shiny, clean. Doesn't smell.
Doesn't smell.
Amazing, though.
On to G ratings. It's just 2 Gs for the Siemens. Despite getting the saucepans reasonably clean, it left the glassware really stained, and Jean-Christophe hated its smell.
Well, it smells like it's been going for years.
3 Gs for the Whirlpool. It was the quickest and cheapest machine, but it wasn't brilliant with glasses or cleaning sticky food like porridge. And it's 4 Gs for the Miele. Not perfect, but it was the most versatile, produced the cleanest, best-smelling wash,
I think it's perfect.
and is the Gadget Show's favourite dishwasher, apart from my mum.
Right, Eddie Steely, check this out.
Hey, I'm Spiky Box.
Okay.
This is Spiky Box, the
Right.
latest edition of the Meccano Spiky family. We've
Yep.
had several of them on the show, as you know. Now, he's fully programmable,
Yep.
so you can make him change emotions, have different personalities.
Yep.
But he's voice activated.
No way.
Yeah, so watch this. Spiky Box. Movement. Go forward.
Wow.
Cool, hey?
Yeah.
Turn left. And you know, he's also got a built-in infrared remote control, so he can turn on your TV and change channels.
No way.
Yeah, you can program him to do loads of different things.
Spiky Box. Spiky Box.
He only likes me.
Okay, so Spiky Vox is all well and good for the domestic scene, but on a recent trip to the United States of America, I was invited to meet a very, very special robot indeed, perhaps the most technologically advanced robot I have ever seen. When it comes to military tech, no one does it better than the Americans. On land, sea, and air, they're at least 10 years ahead of everyone else. And much of the credit for their tech supremacy is down to one singular, shadowy organisation known as Defence Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA for short. In the past, they've been behind stealth bombers, unmanned Predator aircraft, and Star Wars missile defence systems. In the future, well, that's the problem. We don't know, as it's all top secret. Did I say all? I meant mostly, because today we've been granted very, very special access to an ongoing DARPA project. This is why I've come to the Robot Research Institute at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to see a key part of a DARPA-backed project they're working on. Meet Little Dog. He may only be 30 centimeters long and 18 centimeters high, but he does know an awful lot of tricks. The idea is to create a robot that can follow troops across the most extreme terrain, or even head out by itself. So, for example, a soldier on a battlefield could order Little Dog to go from point A to point B, safe in the knowledge that Little Dog will do so with minimal supervision, overcoming any obstacle that got in its way. For this to work, it takes an awful lot of engineering know-how. Firstly, Little Dog needs sensors in his feet that tell him how secure his footholds are. He needs accelerometers in his body that tell him how far he's moved from his natural upright position. He needs motors to power him along. He needs the ability to map and understand his relationship to the terrain he's trying to cross. And finally, he needs a powerful computer brain to monitor and control all of the above. Little Dog does all these things, and to see him in action is actually quite spooky, especially the way he tackles unexpected obstacles. He also has the ability to learn from his mistakes. If one foothold fails, then he'll try another and another until he finds enough grip to move forward. Generally, he prefers slow and steady, but if all else fails, he has a trick for getting across objects he can't walk across. He jumps. The only problem is, Little Dog's brain isn't in its body. It's a computer on the other side of the room. It also relies on an external infrared motion capture system to map the terrain and understand its relationship to it, which works great in the lab, but isn't really going to be a goer in the outside world. Of course, he's still in development, but if they scaled him up, this wouldn't be a problem. All the hardware could then be stored inside his body. This is perhaps where his brother comes in, Big Dog. This is perhaps one of the freakiest things we've ever seen on the Gadget Show, and I do include Jason's underpants in that. Big Dog is the size of a small horse and can carry up to 400 pounds of equipment. It's so clever and it reacts so quickly, it can cope with ice and even being kicked. It is sadly still a prototype, and a fully independent production model is a long way off. But if they do get it working as a standalone battle bot, it could be awesome. What the future holds for Little Dog is less clear. Is he just a research project for his big brother's brain, or is there a future for him in other areas? Perhaps sneaky surveillance? Come on, boy, you can do it. One thing I do know for definite is that I want one, and if he can be taught to sit up and beg, or perhaps roll over so I can scratch his underbelly, I'd have found myself a new friend.
Wow!
Remarkable, isn't it?
It really is like watching Star Wars happen in front of your eyes, don't you think?
Yep. It wasn't too far back that we were dreaming about these things, thinking, no, they won't be achievable in our lifetime.
There are so many situations in which robots are used to save lives. Drones and wheeled robots that use infrared and thermal imaging to try and find signs of human life. People trapped in huge, 20 square miles of earthquake.
Yep.
This little chap, he'll be able to get right down in there, won't he?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's awesome, man.
Welcome back. Now it's time for a top 5. And this week I've been on the search for the best of these. In-ear headphones. A good pair should offer excellent sound quality and comfort while cutting out annoying sounds from the world around you. And talking of the world, Gadget Show new girl Pollyanna and I travelled halfway round it to test our earphones to Singapore. When you're travelling, a pair of small, good-fitting, high-quality headphones is pretty much essential. Polly and I have assembled over 20 of the latest in-ear headphones on the market, and we'll be testing them using these high-quality Cowan J3 music players.
My job is to assess the comfort and the stay-in-your-ear ability.
Whereas I'll be assessing their noise isolation properties and their sound quality. Marvellous!
If you're going to stuff a couple of bits of soft rubber right inside your ear, you want to make sure that they're comfortable and you don't want them to keep falling out. So to really put them through their paces on both these fronts, I was going to try them out on Singapore's first extreme high adrenaline ride, the G-Max Reverse Bungee. That's if I didn't pass out first.
Now, ordinarily, you're not allowed to take anything with you on rides like this. But because we've taken special precautions, such as this scarf, which means they're not going to fly everywhere, I've had special permission.
I'd be wearing each pair seated in a specially designed capsule that's attached by bungee cords to 2 towers. Once the cords are tightened and then released, I'd be catapulted 60 metres into the air at a speed of 200 kilometres per hour.
These are the monster Dr. Dre's, so here goes.
Oh my God, they've surprised! So 1 down, 19 to go.
They've managed to stay in.
And the third set.
Oh, there we go. 1 down.
For my testing, I'd selected an altogether more agreeable spot. Here at the Lake of Dreams in the heart of the £3 billion resort world in Sentosa, it's the perfect place to listen to my music and see how well this lot exclude the sound of this really rather noisy large fountain. Plug them in. Quite a bit of sound isolation, quite metallic though. Aha, what have we here? Aha. Sound quality on these shores is the best I've heard. You want to hear it? Hold on.
Back on the bungee. My testing was still going strong.
They've stayed in. Brilliant.
Finally, after we had both given each pair a thorough testing, we compared notes and came up with our top 5.
Ooh.
And number 5 are the excellent value Sound Magic PL30s.
They've got surprisingly good sound quality, actually, and they've also got pretty good noise isolation.
And they're very comfortable.
Up 4 are the even better value Sennheiser CX300-2s.
Now, these look great and very, very nice to wear, like these.
They've got a nice, warm, detailed sound. They are quite aware of the outside world.
At 3 are the Etymotic HF5s with their enormously long earpieces.
Now, undoubtedly the best of these for sound isolation. I think that's partly because they fit so deeply into your ear. At 2, I found the Shure SE535s very comfortable with the best overall sound quality.
I completely agree, but they didn't fit in my ears.
But at number 1, we both agreed the Monster Turbine Pros had to be our overall favourites.
I absolutely love these.
Yes, I think they have a very satisfying sound right across a huge range of music.
And they're extremely comfortable. I think we've definitely got a number 1.
And if you'd like to know lots more about headphones from the in-ear kind to enormous DJ-style cans, head to our website at 5.tv/Gadget Show, where you can watch my web-exclusive feature on how to pick the kind of headphones that will work best for you. What follows is then hopefully a lifetime of joyous, comfortable music.
Right, as promised, we're now going to rejoin this week's challenge.
Yes, We had to design a cinematic trailer, something that would suggest what cinematic experiences are going to be like in the future. And for that, we needed to get our hands on some serious technology, something that would give our movie trailers the wow factor.
Yeah, I'd gone for 3D, the very thing that's pulling in millions of people and breaking box office records worldwide. But I wanted to take it a step further, make it 4D by adding feel and touch to the experience.
Superb. Whereas I was looking even further into the future at something called 360-degree cinema, which, as the name suggests, is a more involving experience and puts the people watching the movie right in the centre of the action.
So we'd both nailed the medium. All we had to do now was think about the message.
What message is that?
What were we going to put in the trailer?
Oh, yeah.
The experts had told me that shooting 3D on consumer cameras was a mistake, but I'd ignored them. This was one of the biggest tech gambles I'd ever taken, but at least I could rely on my jacket to push all the right buttons.
I, on the other hand, had no doubts. My 360-degree camera was going to be great. Look at that, man. That is just awesome. All we both needed now was to go out and film our trailers. What I need is something that's going to really showcase this amazing 360-degree technology. Which is why I took my crew to the terrifying Saw Alive horror maze at Thorpe Park to use it as a set for a 360-degree horror trailer. How's it going? OK, so you're the actors and actresses, right?
Yeah.
Right, OK, we've got no time. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we've got, like, 2 hours to do this whole thing, and really, we need, like, 3 days. With the clock ticking, I wanted to get filming fast, but to win, my trailer would need to look professional, so I had to find time for makeup.
To make my movie trailer, I found myself a nice, urban, gritty, inner-city location because my movie trailer is going to be all about free running.
But there was more to this than just filming a young free runner.
You're crazy. You're mad. But very handsome.
For this shoot to be a success, I had to choose shots with lots of depth to show the 3D in its best light. For good 3D, the cameras need to be carefully set for every shot. One slight misalignment and the effect is ruined. And with no 3D monitoring...
Fantastic!
It was a lot of guesswork.
Action!
This took time, and time was the one thing that we didn't have. And to make matters worse, the weather got in on the act.
I am having serious problems here. As you can probably tell, it's raining. And one of those drops on the lens on one of the cameras ruins the shot.
If the rain didn't stop, my challenge would be over.
And... action! After a slow start, we were now on a roll. Filming in 360 degrees is totally different to normal filming. It's more like theatre. And cut! Just set the camera and operate it in the middle of the room. The last thing I want to do is shut the door, and then I'm going to shout action. Are you ready? Action! And let the actors do their stuff. Cut! After a quick playback to check the take, it was on to the next scene. And... action! And the next! Action! And the next! Action! I was now starting to worry we were running out of time.
Meanwhile, on my shoot, hallelujah!
Action!
The sun had come out. I was back in business. And it wasn't long before I'd finished.
That's a wrap.
But I still had no idea whether my 3D gamble would pay off.
My shoot was also coming to an end, and with just minutes to spare, I shot my last scene. Sorry.
And we were done. So, with our movie trailers in the can, it was time to head back to start editing. At this stage, I still had no idea whether my camera setup had worked. It could have all been for nothing. The next step was to cut the footage, hoping against hope it would look brilliant in 3D.
Go back to that shot there.
And then, with my trailer cut and my heart in my mouth, we transferred it to a 3D-ready laptop fitted with NVIDIA's 3D Vision kit. Waiting for it to load was agony. All the hard work had come down to this. Taking a deep breath, I put on the 3D glasses. Would it be a trailer triumph or trailer trash? Well, finally, I got the answer I'd been waiting for. Yes! 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 My 3D was a triumph!
We have got some amazing shots that I'm terribly excited about.
Getting our heads around how to edit 360-degree footage also took some doing, but it was looking great.
Wicked, man!
And I was sure that once cut, this would be a gore fest to remember.
Aye, zombie.
OK, edit done. Now I had to decide how to show my 3D masterpiece to the world. The easiest way, and it's something you can try at home, is to upload your side-by-side footage onto YouTube and let their amazing 3D software do the rest. It is fantastic, but I wanted something better, and I thought I'd found it. £20,000 worth of military-spec 3D goggles. Plus, I hadn't forgotten about the sound.
This little box is amazing. It enables you to take your normal stereo headphones and turn them into virtual surround sound.
By adding delays and phase shifts between left and right speakers, this clever box fools the brain into thinking it's hearing pucker surround sound.
Now, the footage shot on the 360-degree camera system I'd used is usually shown either online in a viewing window or through a headset.
But none of that is visceral or physical or involving enough for the project I've got in mind. I want my zombies to come out behind you. I want the people viewing it to be genuinely scared. And to do that, boy, have I come up with a good idea.
It's called the Igloo, and it's a 360-degree portable screen. It's typically used with computer graphics that are thrown onto the screen by 5 synchronized projectors. My 360-degree horror trailer on this screen should look awesome. Bring on the judging.
And that was it. Our 2 trailers had been made. The tech was in place. All we needed now was a judge to come and judge.
But who would show themselves to be the James Cameron and prove their high-tech movie-making credentials?
And who would show themselves to be the David Cameron? Perfect Prime Minister material, but knowing absolutely nothing about filmmaking.
Yeah. Stick around to find out after this series of short films, more commonly known as the ads.
Welcome back. Now, sit down, grab yourself some popcorn, and then nonchalantly yawn. Well, accidentally on purpose, popping your arm around a pretty lady that might be next to you, because the curtain is up on a piece of cinematic magic.
Yeah. This week's challenge is between me and him to try to come up with the next big technological leap forward in cinematography.
That's right. In this week's challenge, I'd gone for a 360-degree wraparound cinema experience where whatever the monster looked like, it really was behind you.
Yeah, and I'd gone for 3D, but I wanted a twist to make it 4D because I wanted to actually experience the actual physicality of the movie itself.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, the trailers were made, the technology was in place, the judge was waiting to do his whole judge thing. The question was, who would walk the red carpet and who would go down the walk of shame? Result. Action!
Here we go.
What an amazing challenge this had proved to be.
Action!
We'd both achieved so much by filming and editing 2 groundbreaking trailers, but the journey wasn't over yet.
So tonight, it's kind of like the Oscars and the BAFTAs all rolled into one.
Yeah, it's like the Baskers.
The Baskers. We've got glad rags on.
Yeah,
well, I have anyway.
You're looking wonderful. We've rolled out the red carpet look, and we're really looking forward to the world premieres of our cutting-edge movie trailers.
We certainly are. And all we need now is a judge.
Yeah, I think I can hear his limo outside.
That is the sound of a stretched limo. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
And the judge was Radio 1's film critic extraordinaire, James King.
Wow, that's a lot of smoke. How are you?
Thank you.
James, thank you for coming along. It's very nice to meet you.
You too.
We've made our movie trailers to try and give you an immersive feeling using technology. Yeah, we want you to really feel as though you're part of the movie. That's the general idea.
This is like no cinema you experienced before.
Okay,
good.
I'm up first.
Okay.
Walk this way.
Nervously, I quickly got James into the emotions jacket and the high-spec 3D glasses.
Oh, okay.
Does that feel comfortable?
Yeah, I can see a screen in front of me now.
Good, and you've got speakers over your ears.
So, James was in the hot seat, and my whole challenge was riding on a cinema-quality 3D trailer shot on 2 high-street cameras with added tech appeal.
And action.
Wow, 3D's really good. Oh, I'm feeling something in my jacket.
Everything was going to plan.
As he's like heavy breathing, it's vibrating in the jacket, which is quite effective.
He seemed really impressed by my homemade 3D.
3D's really good. The tech supremacy looks brilliant.
The jacket's computer-controlled motors were definitely provoking a physical reaction.
Oh, now it's all around my waist. This is very bizarre.
And he even loved my virtual surround sound.
There's a helicopter right behind my head, which sounds amazing. Nice. It's like the Matrix. I'm getting the heartbeats now. Whoa! It's tingling going all the way down my arms. It's very peculiar.
There it is.
Wow.
Headset off. James Kingston, it was like the Matrix. I'm so made up.
Suzi had done great, but I was certain I was going to do better. This was going to be beyond anything James had ever experienced before.
Come on in, James. Come on in, what do you think?
Oh, wow. this is like we're in a circus.
Isn't it?
This is amazing.
Listen to those acoustics.
Hello!
How about that? It's a horror film, James.
Wow, a surround sound 360-degree horror movie.
I couldn't have put it better myself. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, house lights down.
With tech, they thought they could overcome anything, but no one made an app for this.
Wow! On the huge 360-degree igloo screen, it was absolutely terrifying, and I knew what was coming next.
Wow.
What's this? It's a bunny!
And James seemed to be loving it too. The surround sound worked a treat, prompting him to spin round and face the horror at key points throughout the trailer. I was really hoping this one was in the bag. But would James agree?
What about that?
It works really well for a horror film, doesn't
it?
Because you're moving around all the time, which is really unsettling, and you're kind of thinking that something's happening over there behind you, and you turn around, you don't quite see it. And I think because horror films are so much in the mind, what you don't see as much as what you do see.
I agree.
This really works well.
Oh, good, brilliant. All right. Okay, so James, are you ready for your final verdict?
I think I am.
All right, Suze, in you come.
I don't know if I'm ready for the final verdict.
I think two very different experiences. I think what was great about Suzi's one is that you really felt close to the action, the headset, and obviously the jacket, so you're really in there. This one, it's a bit more of a distance, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love that fact that it's just going on all around you and you're kind of scrabbling around trying to find every piece of information. So both really good. But I think ultimately the one that takes it, Jason.
Yay! What an amazing, immersive experience.
Oh, totally, Suze. And you know what? It didn't really come together until I stood there with James and watched the final film with the lights down. It really was a success.
Incredible. I'm really excited about the fact that you could go out there yourself and make yourself a 3D movie.
Don't you think that's incredible? There's a whole generation of people out there who can now afford digital SLR cameras and they're going to be making 3D movies. That's crazy.
It's terribly, terribly exciting. Now, it might be a little bit frustrating watching that because obviously you've not been able to see his movie all the way around and mine in 3D, but you can if you go to our website, 5.tv/Gadget Show. You can watch my movie in 3D if you've got yourself a pair of 3D glasses, or you can download it in 3D if you've got NVIDIA 3D vision technology on your laptop.
Superb, and it gets better. You can also watch my 360-degree movie. It'll be there in a window, and you can use your mouse to spin around and get the full surround movie experience.
Hope you enjoy. Have a go at that.
Yeah, that's it.
See
you
you
next
soon.
week.
Bye.